Hi. My name is Kennedy, and I'm going to be discussing an idea around the university model, university funding model, and the next upcoming crisis. You see, um, let me start by the basics. The basic is this: when Kibaki took office, he ensured that the university model, the way students, the basic education and the university model is in such a way that everyone and anyone can access it from whichever background. That was his philosophy. And he did not just stop there. He also ensured that even the even the banks did not loan to the government. They loaned to private businesses and ensured this by not borrowing from the banks, the local banks. So this was the philosophy of Kibaki. It informed a lot of his decisions. And so one decision that I want to mainly focus on in this conversation is the decision on the funding model for universities. See, Kibaki was a very visionary man. He saw the problem with education being that the cost of education was in such a way that people with people were discriminated based on income. The people with higher income got better education, and people with lower income got little to no education. And so he he designed a system that standardized the whole cost of education. It brought free education in the primary and secondary level by a lot of subsidization of the cost. So that, for example, when I was in primary, I paid school fees of 4K per semester, per term, 4,000. That's tuition fees. And you can imagine 4,000 shillings tuition fees. That's a really affordable price. That's the fee I paid when I was in primary, a public school. So that was the philosophy behind Kibaki. Make education as affordable as possible to anyone, regardless of their income. So Ruto has come in, and his main idea is to make education affordable based on your income, not regardless of your income. See, there's a difference in thought there. There's a difference in philosophy. Making something being standardized is making it cost the same regardless of how much money you earn. Making something relative is making it cost relative to your income. So in a sense, it is costing the education based on how much money you have. So in a sense also, adding up to that sense, is making education accessible to those who can afford it. That's the point. Because now when you're classifying based on income, you are making it, you're removing the standardization in terms of the cost of education, and you're making it such that you can only be educated if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, you have to be ignorant. You can't afford you can't be intelligent and broke at the same time. But you have to be either rich and intelligent or stupid and poor. That's the idea of classification based on income. But let me break it down why I say this. So you see, on the issue of Kibaki making the education system standardized. For me, when I joined university after finishing the Kibaki era of primary and high school, I joined university. The school fee per semester was 19,525. That was regardless of how much money my parents make. And also, this argument of basing the cost of education on the income of the parents, to me, it's it's a crime. It's a crime against the education system of Kibaki. Why? Because now, when you're finished high school, let's say in 2023, you finished high school, and now at that moment when you are doing before, prior to you doing a KCSE, there was that application to universities and those placement, the CUSEPS kind of programs that is placing university students, that's placing high school students to university. In that moment, you declare that my parent makes X amount. And that is after you've consulted maybe to them with them, and in that moment they tell you, me, the both of us, we can make this amount. Me, I make this, and my wife makes this. So, with armed with that information, you declare that the income from my parents is this. So you apply, you give CUSEPS the mandate to place you in a university. So now when CUSEPS looks at that and classifies you and says, huyu mtu anatengeza pesa fulani. Let's put him in band 5, not band 1. So now, as we all know, life is filled with ups and downs. Today you are the top, today you are the go and you are doing a thing on top of the house. But tomorrow you are nobody. This is like the argument, jogoo ya mjini haiweki kijijini, jogoo ya kijijini haiweki mjini. So tomorrow you're not in that same income bracket. Maybe maybe you retired, maybe you got fired, maybe you had an injury and you could not do that job. Maybe, there's so many possibilities to explain why you won't be earning the income you're earning. And this is a scenario, is a possible, probable scenario, very probable scenario. So now, using that probable scenario of during the choosing of schools, you declared an 100K, for example. After you've been selected, you've been admitted, your student has been admitted to a university, say Kenyatta University, and now the school fee has been set. Wewe utakuwa unalipa 70%. Sisi tutakuwa unalipa 70%, 20% inakuwa na 25% inatoka kwa the help and 5% from the parents. So now time goes by. That parent loses that job for whatever reason. Loses that income, not the job, just the income. So now, because the classification was already set prior to the admission, and there is no way of reclassifying you because there is a change of your income, you are stuck in a classification system that is very expensive because in the classification, this is an example that is based on the fact that in the classification you cleared you're earning 100K. And so now that 100K is no longer your income and you've already been classified with the groups of people who earn 100K, you are left with a bigger problem than the one you began with. Initially, you were paying because you could afford it because the income was there, but the income disappeared and the classification remained there. So the gap widened between what you earn and what you are expected to pay. So in hindsight of all this information, this this idea of classifying people based on their income is going to lead to more dropouts. Why? Because of the argument I've put across. So when the president goes around telling Kenyans that this new model will take more students to university, this new model will make the poor afford university, this new model will I don't know this and that and this and those. These arguments are just, you know, this is surface level conversation. Just telling you, I don't know. I don't know what to me it's just nonsense. Because at the end of it, the sense behind the model is by being taken away from the standardization, the comfort of predictability, the comfort of predictability, being taken away from that comfort of predictability and being put in a situation where you don't know, you're not sure, things are not sure, things are not clear. To me, that's not good. That's not a that's a problem. That's a problem. And this problem, I don't know. I'm actually now in my I'm almost finishing. I had some issues, personal issues. I'm also finished my university, but now I'm expected to join September my fourth year, and I have been reclassified. I used to pay 90,525, but due to the classification that is going to come anytime this week or next week, I don't think that's going to be my fee structure. And if my fee structure changes significantly in the upper direction, I don't think I'm going to finish the I'm going to be doing in September because personally I'm a practical person. I'm a very pragmatic person. There is no way you can tell me to pay 60,000 to go to school to be taught by lecturers who are working based on a syllabus that is outdated in the sense that the little that they are giving you, the 25% that they are lecturing you in front of the class, is not even sufficient to construct a sense around the idea that they are trying to put across. And just leaving that alone, the fact that we are charging 60,000 to go to a classroom to be given 25 per a quarter of an idea and being told to make up the difference, the three-quarter of the remaining idea on my own free time, and I'm paying you 60,000. To me, that's value being overpriced. That's value and price not meeting. The value of the thing I'm paying for and the price that I'm paying for it are completely unrelated. And that is, in a sense, robbery. You're stealing from my future value in this education by pricing it so high that even if I went through it, at the end of it, I'll be left with more debt than value. So, in short, me going there is me crucifying myself because the terms in which I'm going is a very punitive terms and conditions. So, in real sense, what this new funding model intends to achieve is to make education a luxury for the rich, not a basic need for everyone. Because if you can't afford it, you can, in summary, if you cannot be in Kenya, what this model is trying to do, this funding model, this university funding model, what it is trying to tell us is you cannot afford to be intelligent and broke. It's either you're poor and stupid or intelligent and rich, but you can't be intelligent and broke because the cost of being intelligent is very high. Cost of getting that basic education, that 25% from the lecturer, is very high. So the motivation of looking for the 75% is very low. And that means you have to have some change, some really good change to afford to be intelligent. Otherwise, wewe baki na ujinga yako tu na umaskini yako, tosheka na hiyo. And to me, that's an insult to the Kibaki philosophy, to the vision Kibaki had for Kenyans. Because Kibaki had a pure vision for Kenyans. He didn't have a vision for his presidency. He didn't have a vision for his power. He had a vision for his reputation in the global market. He didn't have this, this ego, humble ni matatu. He had a vision for Kenyans. And that's what made him a leader to Kenyans. But as things are going now, either you're intelligent and wealthy, or you're stupid and poor. And that to me, that's that's just crime against Kibaki's wishes for us as Kenyans. Kibaki meant well, did well, and any attempts to undo what he did is a crime and should be treated as such. And so that's my sense, and I hope it helps you understand things better.